Have you ever tried to help someone and realize they actually like their problems? Like you give them solution.
I have such mixed feelings about this post, in that I have definitely been guilty of being that friend who constantly talks about the same issue or gets themselves into the same difficulties and seemingly does nothing about it to make it better and doesn't take on the advice of other people. And equally, I have also been the friend that has sat with friends who constantly do the same things, and it can be feel extremely frustrating telling them over and over again kind of what needs to be done, how to fix the situation, and feeling like they're not putting in the effort to actually change the situation they're in. On my psychology journey, I've learned quite a lot about the reasons why we get stuck doing the same things that are not helpful for us, that even though we know that what our friends are telling us is the right thing to do, for some reason we can't seem to stop doing those things. And it basically comes down to, I guess, this idea that fundamentally we're not very logical in terms of our kind of biological makeup. By that I mean that as mammals, we have a old part of our brain that is completely only driven by emotions and experiences. In that sense, that logical part of ourselves doesn't quite kick in until much later, which means that if we've had histories in our lives where, let's say, for example, we've grown up in quite a toxic dynamic, or we have had kind of experiences of being maybe shut down by others, or kind of not given the kind of appreciation or love or whatever it might be in our early lives, then kind of that becomes almost your blueprint for the future. And because we are driven by the feelings that we have or the experiences that we have, it explains why sometimes when we're in toxic situations, they're not easy to drop because they're familiar to us. We know what this feeling is like. And in some ways, it's quite predictable. Whereas the minute that you actually put your foot down and you start to try and do better for yourself and attract better things into your life, that's actually extremely terrifying, and it doesn't feel safe at all because your body doesn't recognize or know what to expect when these things happen. So, I guess as a reflection, it's about both having that balance of understanding, I guess, why somebody is doing this, and it's not necessarily because they're trying to be annoying or they don't want good things for themselves. It might just be that they don't realize that they can have good things for themselves and that they do deserve those things. Equally, being that person who's actively not doing anything about it, you need to put your foot down and change those things. If you think that you are that person, you are that friend who is constantly doing things that people are pointing out to you aren't very helpful, and you're constantly hearing the same advice but it's not quite clicking yet, then maybe take some time to reflect and actually sit down with yourself and think about what is it that you're afraid of losing by dropping those toxic behaviors that you engage in, the things that are keeping you stuck in that cycle.